Hey guys, Naomi here from Table Ready. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make flames for things like weapons, spell effects, anything you can think of. And of course it's going to be cheap and easy. So to demonstrate how we make flames, we are going to create the ringed wall of fire. To do that, we're going to need some parchment paper, some paints in the color of fire, so yellow and orange, red and brown, and some white. You're also going to need a ruler, a paintbrush, some tape, the lid to a pint of ice cream, and some clear Gorilla Glue. So not the super glue, just the clear Gorilla Glue. Once you have all that ready, we can begin. The Dungeons & Dragons spell Wall of Fire can create a 20-foot diameter ring. On a standard battle map, each 1-inch square represents 5 feet. If we're making a 20-foot diameter, that would be 4 squares across. So we need to find the circumference of the circle in order to know the total length of flames that we're going to need. We did the math for you, and the total length of flame needed is just over 12.5 inches. Now that we know the length we need, let's get our parchment paper ready. We want the parchment paper to be wider and taller than the actual flames so that we have room to handle it and secure it down. Ours is 15 inches wide, so we'll leave the length at that. And then we are going to mark off 4 inches for our height. Let's cut that out. Now let's tape down our parchment paper, if you can. If the tape's not working for you, try to find another way to keep it down. Now we're going to leave a little margin on the bottom of our parchment paper that will keep us from getting glue on the table. So we want to mark off the length of our flame. We said it was 12.5 inches. I'm going to go a little bit further than that. I'm going to give it a whole other inch, just a little wiggle room. If you end up needing to trim it later, you can. Now let's get out our glue and our paints. First thing we're going to want to do is lay out about a 1-inch thick band of glue across our parchment paper. Be liberal with it. Try not to leave any gaps. Next, we're going to start laying down our paints. I'm going to start with white. Don't worry about it being perfect. And we're going to basically drag our paint without touching the glue because you don't want glue getting in the nozzle of your paint. We'll move on to yellow. Same thing. Orange. Red, brown. I'm gonna go back and add a little more yellow, just because when you look at a flame, a large portion of that flame is yellow. Now we're gonna take the end of our paintbrush, and this is gonna be the tool to create our flame. So you're gonna start at the white and gently push up, dragging through all those colors. And there's no perfect way to do this. It helps to have a tissue, napkin, paper towel around just to wipe off the end of your brush so your colors don't get too muddled. So just pull out that flame shape and get to stick with it. After you've gone through, you can tell the glue's already starting to set up a little bit. You can go back and add more swirls, more fine details, blend in some of those colors a little more. You'll have some time to play around with it. Now that we've created our flame going across, it's time to wait. It's going to take several hours to dry. We like to just let it dry overnight so that you're not tempted to touch it and mess with it. It should definitely feel hardened and not sticky at all on the top. That'll make it really easy to remove from the parchment paper. We're gonna set this off to the side to dry. Tape already wants to come off, no problem. While that dries, we're going to bring out that ice cream lid. One cool thing that we realized is that the circumference of the ice cream lid is actually the exact same as what we need for our ring of fire. So we are going to modify this to hold our flames. I'm going to just poke a hole through the center of our lid. Struggle! This is a sharp end. There we go, I was using the wrong end. I'm just going to cut this base out as best as I can. It's easier if you just cut it down. It's an easier shape to work with. And then we're going to cut off that thick rim part. We don't need that. There we have our ring. Alright, so it's the next day and our paint and glue have dried. I can tell it's dry because it's hardened, it's not sticky at all, and if you start peeling it, you can see it standing up nice and stiff. What I'm going to do first is cut along that line. If you need to cut through some of the paint, it's totally fine. Now, we can start peeling this off. Be more careful with the tall peaks of the flame because they're a little more thin. There we have it. And now it's time to glue it to our ring from our ice cream lid. So we are going to use super glue for this. Put a dot of glue. And as I'm holding it, place down another bit of glue, maybe an inch, inch and a half away. Line up the bottom edge with the edge of your base. When we made it, I made it longer than the length, so I knew that I'd have a little excess, so I can either trim it off or just overlap the flames. I'm going to overlap them. If you want to add a finishing touch to your ring, you can also go inside the inner ring and paint it yellow to help it blend in a little better with the flames. I'm taking the same yellow that I had for that stripe in our flames, and I'm going to use that to paint the inner ring. We really liked this project because it was simple. We didn't need a lot of complicated materials. These are all materials that you can easily find. You don't need a hot glue gun, don't need anything fancy. And with the techniques that we showed you today, you can make all different kinds of flames. We've done swords, different spell effects for smaller regions or different shapes. We hope this is helpful, and we're really looking forward to making more videos like this to help you guys at home with your own gaming.